Hello everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. I've got to tell you my story. This is Phal Marianne, and she used to be in this little teeny tiny pot right here. Okay. She's been in bark for like 8 years. So I was thinking I've got to repot her in bark. And roots will grow very quickly in bark when you got really good quality bark. So that's been the case for this one. And I wanted to just kind of tell you about my repotting experience because it is a funny one. I got a new bag of really good quality bark. That's rule number one. So I decided last night about 6:30 that I was going to tackle this. When I say tackle this, it was kind of the way that it was. I had to cut it out of the pot very carefully because I had decided that I wasn't going to lose any roots. So I cut away very carefully at this pot. As you see, I've got chunks out of this pot from where I had to unplaster it from this plastic pot. So, an hour and a half later, and 3 quarts of bark later, I had bark everywhere. It was on my little buddy. It was in my hair. It looked like it had exploded all over my kitchen. I'm not kidding with you. It was a mess. So when you're repotting in bark, probably the number one thing you got to remember is to take your time. Don't just pull the bark, the stuff out of the bark. Don't just pull everything. Work with your roots. You can get them out from around these holes if you work very carefully. Because I get asked this all the time. How do I unstick this plant from these plastic pots? What I did was I watered and watered and watered and watered. I just kept pouring water through the pot until finally the roots just kind of softened and I was able to cut away the plastic around them and then poke them back through those little tiny holes that you see. So it does work, but you've got to take your time. It took me an hour and a half. My kitchen looked like a bark factory. So I thought I would give you another little idea here about when you're repotting in bark. Some of the old bark, which I'd say was probably, no more than 6 months old, because I did a partial repotting in bark on this one about 6 months ago. So I took the bark that was about 6 months old and I mixed it in with the bark that's in here now, especially along the top and along the very bottom. In the bottom of this pot, I have styrofoam peanuts. It helps it to drain, especially in a pot like this. I had to drill holes in the bottom of this. See, those were not there. So make sure you got plenty of drainage holes. And so I put the packing peanuts that don't dissolve in the bottom of this, and then, believe it or not, the root system was so large that it just kind of sat down on those packing peanuts. And then I filled in around the edges. But I did use some of the 6-month-old bark. Why? Why did I decide to do that? Because I wanted the orchid to feel at home sooner rather than later. That bark had some of the good bacteria, some of the happy molds that we've been talking about with the water culture orchids. Same with all of the orchids. So I just wanted to kind of give you that little update. I think it looks really happy now. I can't wait to see it bloom the next time. This one is a beautiful phal. But I just wanted to give you an update on how I did that. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time when you're repotting in bark. You all have a great day. Have a highly favored, deeply loved, and greatly blessed day. And we'll talk to you next time.